Have you ever felt like you were meant for more, but you absolutely don't know what more is? Like something is inside of you, but you just don't know how to bring it out. You're not crazy. You're definitely not lazy. Whether you're stuck, confused, or you feel like you missed your moment, this conversation will help you find clarity, confidence, and the courage to finally walk in purpose. We're going deep. So grab your notebook or just listen with an open heart. Because if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Stay with us until the end because I promise something in you will unlock. This is the episode that can change everything. Let's get into it. All right, so Miss Kimberly,
Hi.
You know it's been a minute, but you do so much. I would love for you to just introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
All right, thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Kimberly, 24-year Air Force veteran. I'm also known as the Purpose Pusher, licensed psychologist, strategist, and visionary,
Wow.
and just a girl that does what God has called her to do.
Yes. So let's go right into it.
Okay.
What is purpose and how does somebody find their purpose?
Oh, that's my favorite question.
Yes.
So purpose literally is the thing that only you can do, that God called you to do, right? We have a lot of passions, things that we like to do, or maybe we're educated and we got a skill, but that's not our purpose. Literally, you were born into this earth with a purpose to do what God called you to do, right? He tells us that he knew us before we were even born. He knew us in our mother's belly. So it was in there that he placed a purpose and a reason for being on this life in us. And so that's what I tell people, that's your purpose. And then how do you find it? You need to have a session with me.
Right.
But also just start looking at the things that you love to do, that if you never got paid for it, would you do it? If no one ever complimented you or patted you on your back, would you still do it? Because there's a need, there's a desire in you. And I tell people it's something inside of you that you're like, I really need to change this. I really want to fix this. But somebody else, that doesn't bother them. So it's whatever it is that's in you that you see needs to be fixed in the world. That's your purpose.
So would you say purpose has a problem and solution tied to it?
Of course.
Wow.
Right? So God did that, right? There's so many things in this life that we can even see now that are problems. But when you look at it and you're like, I could fix that. I can do something to change that. That's your purpose.
Wow.
Because you can do it without thinking about it.
Right.
And if nobody paid you, if nobody told you you did a good idea, if nobody even recognized you, you would still do it because it irks you. It's bothering you. And you're here to be that problem solver.
Right. So it sounds like purpose is also serving your community. It's not just for you. It's for the community.
Oh, yeah. Your purpose is never. When people tell me, oh, it's about me getting a degree, and it's about me making money, that's not your purpose.
Wow.
That's something you might enjoy doing, right? But your purpose always involves somebody else.
Eye-opening. So what would you say the biggest difference between purpose and passion is?
Oh my gosh. The biggest difference is passion is moved by your emotions, right? So if I feel like doing it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
My little passion hobby of crocheting or doing something, I'm going to do it because it feels good.
Right.
I'm going to do it because people are going to pay me. But my purpose is even if nobody pays me, even if this is just not working the way I want it to, I'm still going to do it because I can't sleep.
Right.
Right? What is that thing you can't sleep? You can't eat. It wakes you up every day. That's your purpose.
Wow. Wow. Would you say that our God-given purpose is sometimes hard to find because we don't have resources?
Oh, let's say, is it hard to find because we don't have resources? So God is the source. So he always provides the resource.
Right.
So that means we have one, we just don't know where to look. Right. And so that doesn't mean that your purpose is the problem. It means you're the problem.
Wow.
We don't want to hear that.
Okay.
It means that we're the problem. He gave us everything we need. The Bible tells us that everything we need for godliness and everything, it's in the earth. It's already there.
Right.
We just don't know how to find it.
Right.
Or one, fear is usually what stops us. We're afraid to find it. Or we failed last time.
Right.
So we're like, I don't want to fail again. And I don't want people to look at me and see that I messed up, right? So that's what you have to look at and say, wait, I don't want that to keep happening. I know the audience is so excited. I don't want that to keep happening. I want to know my purpose, and you have to go to God and say, God, show me.
Right.
Show me where the resources are because I can't find them.
Right.
And I think that's what we do. We often get caught up in, I can do it myself. I've been there, right? Even with all the businesses and the things we've done. I told somebody the other day, and I miss you too, working with you, because I'm like, people don't do it the way I do it, right? And they're not going to care about it as much as I do. So oftentimes I would say, I'm going to do it myself. But you can't do that. That's not how you win. There's resources, there's people that God wants you to collaborate with, which is why I'm so thankful that you're doing this. Because we have to collaborate. We have to come together so we can make a bigger impact.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So you spoke on fear just a little bit. And I know sometimes fear paralyzes us and we just get stuck. How do we switch that switch? Or how do we get out of there? What's the mindset switch to get out of fear?
Okay.
Start.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. We have to program our mind.
Yeah.
We literally have to reframe it. We have to reshape it and see fear differently. Because there's a good fear, right? Where we have a fear of God.
Yeah.
We have a fear of, right? Of we're not going to jump off this mountain because that would kill us. Yeah. So you have to have a good fear of certain things, right? People with no fear scare me. So you got to have a good fear. And then the bad fear is what paralyzes you. Yeah. So you have to turn it to say, this is not a bad fear anymore. Even if I mess up, even if somebody sees me not do it correctly the first time, I'm still going to do it. Yeah. Because I need that push. I need to actually not be perfect. Right. We're not perfect on this earth. If we were perfect, God would take us now. Right. We don't really want him to take us. Right. So we're not perfect. So we have to have this fear that says, I may not get it right. I may mess up. I may offend somebody, but I'm going to go back and make it right. And I'm going to go try again, because no matter what happens, we're always going to have setbacks. We're always going to have stumbling blocks. But you got to look at yourself and say, I'm going to push past it.
One thing I've learned recently is the law of opposition. When you want to start something, just know, get ready, something will happen. And a lot of us, that's where we stop at. Yeah. And I think because people just assume because they're in their purpose that everything is going to be sweet, right?
I wish.
Right. So what would you say to someone who's just starting out, how to get over that hurdle? Like, okay, it's coming. What is a good thing to tell them, or preparation? Okay, it's coming. How to motivate them to keep pushing?
Yeah, the first thing is expectation. Expect that it's going to happen. Like, this is normal. Yeah. So oftentimes, because we have these unrealistic expectations, or we just don't think it's going to happen, as soon as it happens, we're ready to quit. Right. We're ready to give up. No, this is normal. Right. Oh, okay, this is normal, then I'm good. Yeah. So the first thing you have to do is change your mindset and expect that something will happen. What do they say? Like, a thief is not going to go rob somebody that doesn't have any value. Yeah. So if something's coming against you, if something's coming to take what you have, it's because you have value.
Absolutely.
So first of all, know and expect something's coming. 2, know your value. Know that I'm worth it, that I have something inside of me that people need, that people want, right? So you have to protect it. Then the third one is get with somebody that can help you grow. Yeah. Every coach needs a coach. Yeah. Every mentor needs a mentor. Absolutely. Right? I coach women all the time and men, but I have a coach. I mentor people, but I have a mentor because they're still in different places I haven't been. Yeah. And this coach, this mentor, this strategist can help you get there quicker. Absolutely. So if I'm saying, okay, this is my purpose, and I know I'm going to have setbacks, I know I'm going to have trouble, I need somebody to help me. Wow. Look at football teams, right? They're not just out here playing on the field. They have a coach. Yeah. They have somebody in the box talking to them. Yeah. Like, you got somebody looking at your blind spots. You've got somebody looking at your angles to tell you, wait, we shouldn't do this next time. Or this isn't going to work. Yeah. Right? But if you're just out here as a one-man show, you'll never win that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a fabulous quote from a podcast I was listening to, and she said that the teacher appears when the student is ready to learn. Yeah. And I would even ask, do you feel like we'll call them destiny helpers? Yeah. They start the moment that you're just ready to prepare, or just ready to start. Yeah.
I love that. I heard somebody else say destiny helpers because we need that. Yeah. Right? And I believe that God puts these little people along our journey to help us. Yeah. And I call them like purposeful connections. Yeah. So every year we meet people, right? And we're like, oh, I met somebody new this year. I met somebody else. But if you start looking at, this is a part of my purpose, this is a key piece to my puzzle, it changes the way you meet people. Right. And when you meet people that are not a part of that puzzle, it's easy to get rid of them. Right. But oftentimes we don't know. We have no clear line of our goals or what we want or our purpose. And so we let everybody in. Wow. We just meet people and they all come in the circle. They don't belong in the circle. Yeah. Some people just can't handle it, or they don't have the capacity. Right. And it doesn't make them bad people. It just means you're not for me now. Yeah. You're not for this part of my life. Yeah. But if I don't know that, if I don't know my goal, if I don't know where I'm going, and I just accept anything. Yeah. So once you know who you are and what you're here for, you won't accept anything.
So it has to start from you knowing who you are and where you're going. Yeah. How do you make that line more clear? How do you start? What are some steps? What are some mind switch?
Okay. So first of all, you have to write it down. Yeah. I tell people, get a piece of paper. Write down the pros and cons about yourself, right? What are some pros about me? What are some cons? We all have cons. We all have faults. We all have little flaws, little red flags. But what are pros about you? Your pros should outweigh your cons. Yeah. So the first thing you have to do to see your value, see your worth, is look at your pros and cons. And then line them up with the Bible, right? Oftentimes we want to line our list up with other people. Right. We can't do that because we're all in different phases and chapters of our life. Absolutely. So take your pros, take your cons, and line them up with the Bible. Absolutely. What does God say about you? You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. Right. If you don't know who created you, if you're not reading the owner's manual, you're not going to know how to ride that car. So to get the best out of it, for your car to perform the way it's supposed to, you got to read the manual.
Right. Yeah, we're going to switch gears just a little bit. One of my favorite verses is Matthew 6:33, right? Seeking the kingdom of God first and being righteous, and everything else will be handed to you. How could one submit themselves into Christ to find their purpose?
Oh my gosh. It's a personal journey, right? Because we can't look at it and say, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you need to do this. To get a personal relationship, think about it in your earthly relationships. When you want to get to know somebody in a dating relationship, you call them all the time. You spend time with them. You try to find out what they like, what their favorite color is. Do that with God. Spend time with him. Wake up in the morning. You know, you wake up and you looking for your man's text. Wake up and talk to God. That's what I had to do to make it like realistic to me, right? And make it more attainable. Because oftentimes we have these things that are just not attainable, right? Spend 30 hours with God and spend 8 hours fasting. You like, I can't do that. So wake up in the morning. Spend time with God. Get the Bible app. I love the Bible app now, right? Get on there. Do your daily message. And it sends me stuff now that's like, you're on a streak. I'm like, me? So, so you have to do that. So start with the little things, right? Don't come out and say, I'm going to be like one of these other veteran Christians and I'm going to do this. And no, start small, right? But now, if you've been starting small for 5 years, baby, you got to grow. Okay, so some of y'all on little milk, some of y'all on real food. So start with prayer in the morning. Start with journaling. Start with reading a scripture a day, right? Start small with God, but spend time with him like you would a regular person.
What are some of the biggest mistakes people tend to make when finding their purpose?
Oh my gosh. The biggest mistake is waiting for somebody to validate you.
Wow.
I see that all the time. And I saw it in myself, right? Because you get this word or that God reveals to you. Because your purpose is in you. It just has to be revealed. And so when it's revealed, you're like, well, God, is anybody else going to believe it? Are they going to follow it? Do they understand what he told me? No, you got to not wait for people to validate you and know that God gave it to you.
Absolutely.
Because your cousin may not understand it. Your mom, your friends may think you're crazy. But you know what God said. Right? And God said, my sheep hear my voice and they know and they follow. So God is waiting on you to follow. My friend said yesterday, we were on a interview, and she said, it's one thing to just like know God. It's another thing to obey him.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that. Yes.
And she said her life changed drastically, her finances, everything, when she obeyed him.
My goodness.
And so I had to look at myself like, God, you're right. Okay. So I'm obeying you in a bunch of areas, but this one area, I'm kind of doing this on my own. So it's really going to change when you obey him and not just know him.
Wow. Okay, so some of us are stuck on limiting beliefs.
Oh, my goodness.
And that is from what you said, the programming, right? So how do we get stuck? How do we get unstuck from the limiting beliefs?
Okay. So the limiting beliefs, you have to know, were planted somewhere in your life. So I always tell people when we have our first session, I'm not meeting you, I'm meeting your representative.
Wow.
Every time I meet somebody, it's like, nice to meet you, Sharon, but this is not Sharon. This is not who you were born to be. So let's go back to where the real Sharon died. There is something, not even a trauma, a tragedy, anything could have happened where you stopped growing. Physically, you kept growing, and people think you're doing good. But somewhere, the little you just stopped growing. And so that's where you stopped. That's where your limiting beliefs came in, right? So the one time you were walking as a toddler and you fell, and you're like, oh, I'm never going to get on that bike again. Well, why? You just fell one time. That's the same thing with our limiting beliefs. Things happened in our life. A third grade teacher said you'll never be nothing. And you took that into your 50s. And you still, for some reason, think you'll never be nothing because of what a third grade teacher said. So you have to go back to those places and uproot those limiting beliefs. Uproot those things. God said that we can do anything through the power that he has given us. So then where did I learn? Here we go. To stop coloring outside the line.
Wow.
Right? When we were little, they used to say, just color anywhere. It's wonderful. As you get older, they start saying, no, you can't do that. No, you need to stay here. No, make a bold line and stay here. And that's what we did.
Wow.
So you have to go back to color outside the line, baby. Just scribble all over that paper and get over that limiting belief that stopped you. Because the world is not built to push you into your purpose. The world is built to stop you. What do they say? Go to school, go to college, work a 9 to 5, and die and get some retirement. Like, the world is not built to teach you to color outside the lines or teach you to be all God created you to be. So it's going to take you going against the grain. It's going to take you not listening to other people. It's going to take you really focusing and saying, you know what, God, I believe what you said about me.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Right. So we need to validate ourselves with the word of God.
Yes.
To even go there. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What are some resources that one can use? For example, I know you have a coaching program.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So can you talk about your coaching program and how can people reach out to you and start? Yeah.
Oh gosh, come on, go to my website, KMichelleConsulting.com. But the program, we have a 90-day and then we also have a 1 year. So we say 90 days because it's 21 days to make a habit.
Right.
It's 90 days to make it a lifestyle.
Wow.
So anything you do in your life, you need to do it for 90 days.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. You want to have a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
So our coaching program takes you through, we say, from purpose to profit.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes you get your purpose, but you're not doing anything with it.
Absolutely.
You're working a job you don't like. You're a stay-at-home mom. You're doing something, but you're not working in it. You know your purpose, but you're not moving in it. Yeah. So what I teach people now is how to move from purpose to profit.
Wow.
And so we're going to change your limiting beliefs, your mindset. We're going to also deal with, where did you have these blockages? Where did you have these speed bumps when you turned around and went home? Yeah. I want you to deal with these speed bumps and keep going, right? So we're going to deal with those. We're going to deal with traumas. And we're also going to deal with where you're afraid of, right? Yeah. Most people are afraid of succeeding. Yeah. They're not afraid of failing.
Thing, you guys. Yes.
Yeah. It's you have a fear of success, not fear of failure. Yeah. Because you have failed plenty of times. Yeah. We all have, right?
We made it the norm to continuously fall.
And you're not afraid to fail. So let's be honest, right? We're like, I'm afraid to failure. No, you're not, because you have failed. Yeah. So you're afraid of success because what if it actually works? Yeah. So that's what we deal with in the program. We also deal with like building your business. Right? So we have small business coaching, small business training to teach you that after I know my purpose, now how can I make a passive income? Right. How can I make extra money? How can I leave a legacy? So those are all the different things that we deal with. And then we pair you with other professionals. Wow, right? Yeah. I don't do insurance. So we're going to get you somebody that knows insurance. Yeah. If your business is in public speaking, let's get you with great public speakers. Yeah. Right? If your business is in beauty, let's talk to some beauty folks. Yeah. So whatever it is that you do, we're going to work on what it is that you do so you can be the best you and not a version of me, but your best self.
Right. What got you started in this field?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. My life, child. My own life. Yes. So all of us have a story. Yeah. Right. And so from the very beginning, I tell people I used to think life kind of happened when I was 12 and my virginity was taken from me. But it went back to that, to when I was sexually abused at 7. Yeah. Then it went back to that, to where I was in the womb. My mom was pregnant. And she was smoking and drinking. I tell people the story all the time. She used to smoke and drink, right? And so when she got pregnant, she was like, they said she couldn't smoke and drink, so she said it was my fault. Wow. So she blamed me in the womb for her not being able to do what she wanted to do. Yeah. She's an amazing woman now, right? But she felt like that was the problem. Yeah. Then she had to have a C-section because I didn't want to come out, they said. So now she's mad again. Yeah. I got to get my body cut open. It's her fault. Yeah. So I came out literally already with rejection. Yeah. And it was like, that's what they used to joke about, that I didn't want to come out the womb because I knew what I was coming out to. Wow. And so as I got older, I never knew what that meant until God took me all the way back to that place. My God. And said, you can try to heal from when you were 12. That's good. Mm-hmm. You can try to heal from the sexual abuse. That's fine. But let's go all the way back to the womb. Wow. So that's even in part of the coaching program. It's called womb wounds. Yeah. Because there are wounds that happen to you when you were in the womb.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Before you even come out. And so if we don't address those real issues, then we can't get to where we are. So that's the main reason why I'm coaching, is because as I got older, I started saying, God, I wish there was somebody that could tell me what to do. Yeah. I wish there was somebody who would just grab my hand and hold me. And I promise God, if they showed me A, B, and C, I'll do it. Yeah. And so growing up, my mom just didn't have teaching to teach me certain things. Yeah, yeah. So I always found myself gravitating to like my bonus mom, right? My dad's wife. I was gravitating to other women that looked beautiful and did things. And so my mom was beautiful, but she was always in church, and that's all she talked about. Yeah. 24/7 was going to church and talking to God. And I'm like, but this got to be something outside of that. Yeah. And so I started seeing other women doing different careers and other different things. And I was like, okay, so there's more to this than what we're doing. Right. And so then I started just trying to help people. And I started helping young girls and helping people that helped me and just giving back. And, you know, this wasn't big 20 years ago. But then as I'm in the military, then I'm like, people are like, you know, you're coaching. I'm like, I'm coaching? Wow. I only thought a coach was like on a football field, right? I'm like, I'm not coaching. I'm just trying to help you. And so in the military, same thing. I go to basic training. I didn't know how to fold my underwear, right? You have to fold them perfectly. I didn't know any of that. So I started telling the girls, well, if I braid your hair, will you fold my underwear? Will you fold my jacket? Will you get my stuff together? And somebody said, you're like leading all these girls. Everybody has the same 2 plaids. Y'all all look alike. And your stuff looks good. And I'm like, I didn't even realize that was coaching. And so from there, when people started putting titles on it, then I'm like, okay, I want to get some information. I want to get some background. I want to get licensed in this. And so that's what took me down the journey. But I was already doing it before I knew. Which is why I tell people I'm the purpose pusher, because I didn't even know
you were doing it.
I was pushing people into their purpose.
My God.
Way before. My God. It had a title. So that's your purpose. It's the thing you do
naturally.
Just waking up, not even thinking about it. Nobody had to pay me to help those girls. Nobody had to pay me to speak into somebody when I saw them. It was purpose.
Absolutely.
Oh
my goodness, I need to sign up.
Come on, girl. You've been around me for a minute, so you already know.
You guys heard where the website is. One more time, please.
All right, KMichelleConsulting.com.
And I will definitely have it in the description, okay? And also her IG and her TikTok as well. So if you guys want to reach out, that is where you're going to find her.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, absolutely. So I do have one more question for you.
Yes.
So just give us anything, any word of wisdom for the audience. It could be anything that you would like.
Okay. The wisdom is just do what God told you to do unapologetically.
Wow.
Right? Oftentimes, I said it before, we want to be validated and we want people to tell us it's good. But the only way that you're going to be successful is if you do it unapologetically and with confidence. There is a confidence, there is a clarity, and there is a commitment. That's also what we teach in the program, is that your confidence goes before you. So as soon as you walk in the room, people ought to know that you're here to shift the atmosphere. Then there ought to be a clarity about who I am and what I do. And then there ought to be a commitment. If you are not committed to what God has called you to do, it's going to be tough. So I'm going to leave you with those 3 C's: clarity, commitment, and confidence.
Clarity, commitment, and confidence.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I enjoyed it so much. I did. You're doing a great job. Y'all follow her, whatever she's doing.
Okay, so today's conversation was very powerful. If you guys liked what you heard today, if you love the content, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Share with people who needs this. Everybody needs to know their purpose, and that way they have the resources and they know exactly who to go to.
Yes.
I'll see you guys at the next time, the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
True to your words, you let me catch my breath.